I just really think that this text thread between me and a guy that I dated for a short amount of time shows us exactly the impasse that we are at right now between the feminine and the masculine in dating. So I went out on a date with this gentleman. We met on a dating app and we had a really great rapport back and forth for several weeks before we went out on a date. We went out on this really fun date that he had planned. It was just really perfect in all the ways, and I really, really liked him. But one of the things that he told me at the beginning of the date was that he had been in several long-term relationships, and his last few relationships ended because the women were just all drama. So when I hear that, that's a red flag for me in many ways, because I'm thinking in the back of my mind, does drama mean that they had emotions? Does drama mean that they required you to evolve emotionally and face your shadows? And men will reach a certain impasse where they just refuse to do that. And instead of accepting or owning up to the fact that it's their refusal to evolve that is the end of the relationship, they then call the woman drama, which happened at the end of my last relationship. So knowing that this was a common thing that men did, I kind of logged that in the back of my mind as a red flag. Well, after our date, he made it clear to me that he was really only looking for a sexual relationship because I received some communication that definitely pointed in that direction. And so I told him in no uncertain terms that I was not looking for that and that I was not interested in that moving forward. So he asked me at the top here, well, what do you want? And I said, a relationship. And he says, I see. And I have blacked out some of these details just to keep privacy. And he says, I think of having a solid companionship without all the stress and obligation that normal relationships have. Okay, well, what is that exactly? Let's continue. I had that with that other woman I was seeing. He goes on about his last relationships. And then the last few sentences, he says, I like having companionship and being a solid friend and having fun, but something committed, I don't think I have the ability to do that right now. So he's telling me basically he wants friends with benefits, but he's disguising it in a way that he's calling it solid companionship. But what is solid companionship, if you look at the top sentence, without all the stress and obligation that normal relationships have? You don't have a solid companionship, sir, if you do not meet her emotional needs, if you cannot hold her emotions, if you will not face your own emotions and evolve. That is not a solid companionship. And so this is what I say to him next. I say, in my opinion, that isn't a relationship. It's friends with benefits. Let's call it what it is. And besides that, I believe a relationship is an emotional investment in another person. Like I said, we're looking for different things. I'm sure you'll find what you're looking for, and I hope that you do. So I'm telling him up front what my standards are. I want an emotional investment from a partner. That is what I'm looking for. I am not looking for a friends with benefits. So it's just interesting to me that I'm telling a 40-plus-year-old man what an emotional investment is or what a relationship is. I'm defining it for him. So he basically says, women are just extra, not really my focus, so. And then I love this part at the end, and he says, I hope you find what you're looking for. Does he not think that I'm going to find what I'm looking for? This is the delusion that I'm seeing with so many men. They honestly think that they're the only option that we have and we don't have several other options. They really truly have been sold this lie. They don't understand that it's going to be very easy for me to then block and delete, which I did. I happened to archive this thread because I wanted to post about it, but I promptly blocked and deleted after this exchange because next, as I've said, I'm creating space for what I ultimately do want. We made it clear that we're at an impasse. Thank you and best wishes. So I stopped talking to him. I leave him on red, and he comes back, wouldn't you know, a week later, hey, I hope you're having a nice weekend. If you ever want to hang out, just let me know. And we had a brief exchange. At that point, I had not blocked and deleted him, if I recall, but I did shortly after this short exchange where I yet again laid my boundaries and said, I'm not looking for friends with benefits. After finally blocking and deleting, I get an Instagram friend request just a couple days ago. It has been weeks since this exchange. You can see the date, okay? So this is a month ago. I completely forgot about him and had moved on. I get an Instagram friend request from him because he can't text me because I blocked and deleted. And he's requesting me to be my friend. So I'm just perplexed here about, does he think if he keeps trying that I'm going to somehow remove my boundaries, that I'm going to soften my boundaries and just go have fun with him, because the price of admission for this is emotional intelligence. I am not looking for friends with benefits. And for women that are putting up with men that refuse to invest emotional intelligence, just know that this is what they're looking for. If you need to be reminded, let's go back and look at his own words, shall we? They are looking for, quote, solid companionship without all the stress and obligations that normal relationships have. That's a creative way of saying that he just wants you to be quiet, be easy, not be stressful, and have fun with him. So if you are lowering your standards to be picked by a man that wants this, just know that that's what you are to him. Our currency right now is in maintaining our high standards, our boundaries, not giving them the fun that they want unless they invest emotionally and evolve.